Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to my channel, Scotty Cherie Reads. Today we're going to be doing my first try a chapter tag, and I figured I would do like a winter edition because if you don't know, I'm from Indiana and I actually live in Phoenix and I have been here for 7+ years, and it is the beginning of January and it's still like 70 degrees outside if you can't tell from the sunlight that's coming in. And I just want to snuggle up with a book that's going to give me the wintry, snowy, snuggly vibes that I miss from living in Indiana. So I decided to look on my shelves and I picked 5 different books, which I have these 5 here. We'll go over a quick little synopsis of what they are, and then I'm going to read only the first chapter of each one, give you an update as I do that, and then pick at least one book to read and finish and give a review on. We'll see if I have time to do 2 books, but let's just get right into the summary of these 5 books. Jumping right into it, the first book I have that I picked off my shelves is Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. So I just got this one recently and it's really pretty. I love this book. I like the sprayed edges. It's what everyone's doing nowadays. But I picked it up because people said it's similar to like Legends and Lattes, which it's like a cozy fantasy. I don't know much about it. I know it is book 1 in the series, and a couple of the other ones are out right now, so not a bad idea to read it, and there's like at least book 2 is out already. It says a cozy fantasy steeped in love. I don't want to know much about it. All I know is that there is a sapphic relationship in here with, I assume, these 2 women that are on the cover. They own a bookshop that also sells tea, and that's all I need to know. It's giving winter vibes with the fireplace and the books and the tea, so this is one that definitely called out to me for sure, so I'm going to try a chapter of this one. The next one I have here is Frederick Bachman's Beartown. This will be my first Frederick Bachman novel, if this is the one that I choose to read. And all I know is that it's in a small town and hockey is like the big thing in this town, and I think that one of the guys from the hockey team, I think, sexually assaults a girl in town, and there's like a case, and people don't really know how to deal with it because they're known for their hockey team, but I feel like they're just trying to like push this like essay under the rug. But I could be wrong, that's just what I've gathered. I don't want to read the back because I'd rather just go into this book not knowing very much, but obviously from the cover it is very winter-esque. It's about hockey in a hockey town, so yeah, I'll be reading part of this one. Next up I have The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This one I picked up a while ago for Books in Lala or Kayla's Literally Dead book club, but I never got around to it. And I know that she really likes it, so I've always been interested. And obviously from the cover, it literally is a retreat in the woods with snow on the cover. So I don't know much. All I know is that there's a writing retreat, and I'm sure that there's murder that happens and you're trying to figure it out. So sounds intriguing enough. Then I have Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I have had this book on my shelves for years and years and years. All I know is that it's winter-esque and it's a fantasy, which I really want to get back into fantasy this year. I think it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, but that's all that I know. And the last one here I'm going to try is No Exit by Taylor Adams. I read The Last Word, I'm going to put it here, I think that's what it's called, last year, 2 years ago, and really liked it. This was an earlier one that I feel like was more popular. It's a mystery thriller that's in the middle of winter, as you can tell. There's snow and stuff, but the back says 13 hours, 4 strangers, 1 missing child, no exit. She knows her odds, she'll fight anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna read the first chapter of these 5 books, and I'll check in between each and give my little quick thoughts on the chapters, and yeah, then we'll figure out which one of these 5 I'm gonna pick. Okay, so I decided to start with Can't Spell Treason Without T. Let me see how long the chapter is so I know what I'm getting myself into. Oh, it's only about 10 pages, so I'm gonna hop into that and I'll be back once I finish. Okay, I'm back. So that was pretty quick, and I am pretty intrigued with how this is going so far. It's a little bit different than what I expected because we're dropped right into like a battle scene. So we get a little information about Reyna and Kiantha, is I think how you say their names. This is the couple that eventually leaves to open the bookshop with the tea. But Reyna is the queen's guard and Kiantha is a mage, and they have a secret relationship that has formed in this empire under the queen's watch, and people don't really know about it yet. And it starts off with this dance or ball that's going on, and Reyna's there as a guard, and she sees that there's an assassin there. She's plotting on how to get this assassin, and she's taken by surprise, and one of the assassin's helpers or buddies, I don't know what you call them, sneaks up behind her and cuts her neck. She's okay, but he basically holds her hostage and says to the queen, like, you know, life for a life, like, let us go. And basically the queen is like, I don't give a fuck about this one guard. And Reyna's just like, what the hell? Like, she comes from a long lineage of guards, and she just felt very disposable. And apparently in the past, Kiantha, the partner, has always said, let's run away from the kingdom, let's go and just start a bookshop and with some tea by ourselves, and let's get rid of this life. And after the situation, Reyna decides to leave, and the end of the chapter is her packing her bags and escaping, and it says that she's not gonna come back. So, pretty interesting, very heavy on like the fight scene in the first one, but I mean, she's already left the kingdom, so I'm assuming that it's gonna be a lot more chill moving forward, but maybe there will be something coming up with like the queen like coming after Reyna or something, so there might be a little bit more high stakes in this, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, in my opinion. But yeah, I also wanted to note that the first chapter is from Reyna's perspective, but it looks like the second chapter is from Kiantha's perspective, so it seems like it goes back and forth, which is something that I like and is refreshing a lot of the times in books. So interested to see what the other ones are gonna hold up, or how they're gonna hold up to this one. The next one I have here is Beartown. I'm gonna read the first chapter. Oh, well, I guess I can read the first chapter out loud to you as well because it's that short. All right, it says, late one evening toward the end of March, a teenager picked up a double-barreled shotgun, walked into the forest, put the gun to someone else's forehead, and pulled the trigger. This is the story of how we got there. Dang. I thought this was solely about, like, sexual assault, but it looks like there might be a potential murder? Well, I'm intrigued, like, exactly. I want to turn to the next page immediately, but I can't because it's just one chapter. So yeah, there's that for Beartown. And then the writing retreat, let's see how long these chapters are. So about 10 pages. So I'll read this one and then I will come back and update the vlog. Alright, I've finished the first chapter of the writing retreat, and this challenge is going really well so far because I'm very engrossed in this book and want to keep reading as well. It's from the perspective of a girl, our main character named Alex, and it starts off with her missing like her old partner whose name is Ren. We don't know exactly how their relationship ended. It was really, really bad. There was blood involved. It seems like Alex hurt Ren in some regard, but they're going to this author event for their friend Ursula. I say they, it's Alex and her male friend from work who they're just like starting to get to know each other named Peter. And they're going to Ursula's book event because she just released her second novel, and our main character Alex is like concerned because Ren's also in the publishing world and writing space and is afraid to like run into Ren. So we're very much in Alex's head, and I like the writing in that regard because it reads very like anxious in a good way, or anxious, not in a good way, but anxious in a way that really portrays like how you would really feel if you're at a party, you're trying to drink alcohol and like you're kind of looking around for that person to see if they're gonna be there, and that's expressed really well in the writing in this book. At the end of the chapter, which is only like 10 pages, she does ultimately see Ren, and then it kind of goes from there. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happened between Ren and Alex, if they can fix it, how they're gonna get to this retreat together. Yeah, there's a lot of questions I already have, and like I said, I wanted to keep reading it. So yeah, solid one for the writing retreat as well. And now I'm going to pick up Spinning Silver. Let's see what I'm getting into. Looks like this one's a little longer, about 13 pages. So I'll start this one and I'll be back when I finish this chapter. All right, I finished Spinning Silver and I'm having a blast. This one, the writing is really intriguing because it's giving me the winter feels that I'm looking for. It's very fairy tale-esque and very cozy. It talks about winter and being cold and wrapping up in furs and all of that good stuff, which I haven't seen in the other books quite yet. So that's intriguing to me. The basic premise of this, we don't know a lot, but we're following our main character, Miriam, who's the daughter and granddaughter of moneylenders in this old town. And her dad was a moneylender, but he was like terrible at it and like never asked for his debts, to the point where like Miriam and her family were in poverty basically and not being able to meet their needs. But Miriam's mother eventually gets sick and Miriam like has had enough. So she basically takes all of the list of the debts that her dad has and goes and makes sure that these people pay. But we're learning that this is kind of turning her heart cold because she doesn't have any empathy for the people that she's asking this money back from. And yeah, that's all that we know. So I'm interested to see like how evil Miriam turns, like, and where this story goes with the money lending. I think eventually she's known to be able to turn silver into gold, kind of like Rumpelstiltskin. And yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of adventure in this book. So really cool. I do like fantasy, so I'm drawn to this. And I definitely know this is going to give me the winter cozy vibes from what I've read so far. All right, and last up, I have No Exit. Let's see what the first chapter's looking like. Okay, so this one's a little bit longer. So we're looking at about 22 pages. So I'll be back once I finish the first chapter. All right, first chapter's done, and again, I'm very much intrigued. This one's giving the winter vibes hardcore from the start as well. So our main character, Darby, is driving from her college in Colorado to Utah because her mother was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And she's just trying to get there as soon as possible. However, she's driving through this big snowstorm and it's so bad that she needs to stop at a rest stop. So she does. There's no signal. She's trapped, obviously. There's a couple other people that are there. There's a person named Ashley, a guy that's there that she meets. And there's the person who works at the service station. I can't think of what his name is right now, but ultimately, she's like kind of going through the history of like her relationship with her mom getting diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and realizing that she's stuck here for quite a while. And she leaves outside to go to this spot where she was told from Ashley that there is a little bit of reception. She doesn't get any, but as she's walking back, she's looking at, there's 4 cars. One's one of her cars, and there's 3 other cars that are there for people that are trapped at this service station. And as she walks by this van, she sees a little kid's hand in the back, and it looks like this kid is in like a kennel, and there's a lock on the outside. And then it kind of frosts over, and she doesn't really see it anymore, but she knows that that's what she saw, and the chapter ends there. So very intriguing. I don't know. I think that I might start with this one. I think that this one is a page turner and I'll be able to get through this really quickly. I'm very interested to see where this goes. And I know this is a lot of people's like favorite Taylor Adams book, but also some people's favorite thriller book in general. I think it's great because I was leaning towards Frederick Bachman and Spinning Silver, but I feel like No Exit gives me kind of the best of both worlds. So I liked that it started with like a winter-esque feel and setting and vibe with Spinning Silver, and I liked the thriller part of Beartown, so I get both of that here. So yeah, I'm gonna read this book. I'll check in maybe when I'm halfway through, or maybe if I just continue to read, like I'm flipping through the pages right now, it'll be when when I finish the book. But I'll be back when I am ready for an update with no exit. Alright, I am back, and I know it looks kind of professional. I just finished filming my 25 books to read in 2025, which I'll have linked above. But I figured I'd stop in because I finished No Exit. And I don't know how to feel about this book, because when I was reading it, I was really enjoying it and like turning the page to figure out like what was gonna happen. But when I finished it, it just kind of felt like, okay, it's not gonna be memorable. That was really unrealistic, and you know, it was just twist after twist after twist, and it's just impossible that this would work out this way. Our main character, Darby, finds herself at this rest stop because there is, or like visitor center rest stop area. I think I said that it was like a gas station beforehand, but that's definitely not true. It's just like a rest stop in Colorado, because there's a big snowstorm that's happening. She is on her way to Utah because her mother is going into this immediate surgery because she has pancreatic cancer, which is not good, so she's just rushing to get home ASAP. And ultimately, there's a couple of people that are in there. There's 3 individuals, someone named Ashley, there's Ed, and then another woman, I'll put her name down here, I can't remember what her name is, and she goes out to try to find cell reception, and when she comes back in one of the vans, she sees a little girl's hand, and she can tell that this little girl is in a cage. So obviously she's trying to figure out how to get this kid out, whose car this is, who has the kid, why this kid's kidnapped. And the story just goes from there, and if I say anything else, it's gonna be a spoiler, but ultimately I think I'm gonna give this a 2-star read. I think it was a fine, you know, popcorn thriller, if that's what you're looking for. It did very much give me the winter vibes, for sure. Like, I definitely felt like I was in the snow, which was the point of this, so there's a check for that. But the plot of this story is only there because the main character makes the most idiotic fucking decisions ever. And that can be funny if you can just suspend your disbelief and like, you know, just go with the flow and know that it's just an easy popcorn read, but it's not a work of fucking great fiction is what I'll say. I think that I like the other book better, The Last Word. I believe that's what it's called. I'll put it here, but yeah, I mean, if Taylor Adams comes out with other thrillers, like sometimes you just want a quick read to just get you out of a reading slump, and I realize that his writing is going to do that for me, so I won't buy any other books from him, but if I need to get one from the library or something, I'll do that and just kind of read it in between when I'm in a slump. But other than that, just average, like 2.5-star read. Did what it needed to do for the winter reads, but not anything that I'll remember for an extended period of time, I'm sure. I need to watch the TV show adaptation, but it's a Hulu exclusive and I don't have Hulu, so I need to figure out how to do that. Maybe I'll just buy it because I feel like that'd be cool to like come back on here in this vlog and give you kind of the play-by-play of No Exit, the book versus the adaptation, and see how well of a job they did, if anything was changed. So you'll likely see that at the end of this vlog. But anyway, now I decided that I wanted to read another book, and Beartown stuck out to me a lot. I actually have started reading it. I'm on chapter 16 and very much loving this so far. I'm tandem reading it and the audiobook is really great. There's a lot of characters in here, and I like how it goes back and forth between the characters in this small town to get their perspective, and it's building up to some big event. And that's all I'm gonna say right now. I already kind of read the first chapter, obviously, for you, but yeah, that's it. I'm gonna continue to read today, and I'll come back once I've finished Beartown. Okay, so I'm back, and I have already finished Beartown. So there wasn't even any cute little segue or b-roll before I finished this, because when I read the first chapter and kept going, I just literally could not stop. If you can't tell from the tabs here, I absolutely loved this book 5 out of 5 stars. I cannot wait to pick up the rest in this series. There's 2 other books in this trilogy, Us Against You and The Winners, and I've ordered those 2 and they're on the way. I don't think I'm going to get to them this month, and next month is Black History Month, so I'm trying to prioritize Black authors, but I need to sink my teeth into the next one. There was so much that was packed into this book. The whole point of this reading challenge or vlog was to get books that give me the wintry vibes, and this Beartown book gave me exactly that, and not only like winter feels, but also cozy small town feels, which reminds me of my home. I mean, I'm from a town in Indiana, and it's honestly the second biggest city in Indiana, but it feels like a smaller town, so I could relate to a lot of this stuff. It's funny because I'm not a sports girl. Like, I don't really like to read about sports, and that's kind of what pushed me to, like, I guess push this on the back burner, because I was like, it's about hockey and I just don't care about sports. But even when reading about the games and stuff, I was thoroughly invested. I think Frederick Bachman made it really easy to understand what was going on, but also engaging, and the time that he wrote on page that were in the matches, if they're called matches, if it's hockey, matches, games, I don't even know. I think they're matches. Yeah, it's this my final match. Okay, I'm not too far off, but as you can see, I don't really know much, but the amount of time was just enough for you to understand. It didn't feel like it was too long, which was awesome. There are a bunch of characters in this book, but I think reading it with your eyeballs makes it a lot easier, and to read it in a short amount of time. I have seen negative reviews about people specifically who have like listened to the audiobook and said it was kind of difficult to keep up with all the characters. So I can see that. And I also think that this is a book, if you were to like, you know, read it and then put it down for a couple weeks and pick it back up, it would be hard to get back into the story, because there are so many different perspectives that we get and so many different characters and things that are going on. So I think this is definitely a book, if you can kind of sit down and finish it in a week, then you'll take a lot more from it. I don't want to say too much about it, because at the beginning I read the first chapter to you guys and it seemed like there was like a murder, and I don't want to say if there's a murder or not, but there is high stakes, especially since it started that way, to see, is this murder gonna happen, what's gonna go on, and it propelled you throughout this story to keep turning the page. And Bachman, I'm not sure, did a great job with the pacing. It's a little bit long, and I know that they get longer and longer as the series goes. It's over 400 pages, but I finished it in like a day and a half. When I say I was engrossed in this world, this gave exactly what I wanted in terms of just being bundled up on the couch, reading. I was in this town. I was playing hockey with them. I was invested in hoping that justice was going to be served for some of these characters. And yeah, Benji is one of my favorite characters in here, and I think that the next book has to do with him and his story. And yeah, that's all I want to say. That's all I really want to say without giving spoilers, but I think anyone and everyone would really enjoy this book. Like I said, I'm not even into sports, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's all I have to say. This was exceptional. Now I have other reading plans that I have going on for the rest of January and in February, but reading the other books, the first chapter of the other 3, I'm eager to pick those up as well while it's still winter here, or January, you know. But yeah, this was a success. Even though I only gave No Exit 2 stars, I think it was still worth it. It still gave me the vibes that I wanted, and Beartown is a new all-time favorite. Can't wait to pick up the next one. And yeah, that's it. I really liked this tag. Like I said, it's my first time doing a try a chapter tag, so I'll definitely be doing it in the future. Let me know if you've read any of these books. If you want to talk about Beartown, down below, just make sure you cover up spoilers. Obviously, do not ruin for anyone else. But other than that, I'll catch you in another video. Thanks. Bye.